Welcome back to our 5th installment of Securing Our Buckskin Legacy. Today, I have Mr. Kyle Starnes, the Jolie Barber Principal, joining me to discuss what academics and extracurricular offerings that we would have if we move forward with building a high school. So, Mr. Starnes, this has been a really big question in our community. A lot of families are asking some things in regards to extracurricular activities and academics and classes. I know we don't have all the answers yet, but we've had a lot of conversations. So I know our staff have already been talking about this too and what it could look like. So I'm really excited to talk about this topic today. Should this become a reality in our district? First, we know that the reality is we might not be able to offer everything that first year when we keep our 8th graders as freshmen. We may not be able to offer everything in-house over the next few years once we've kept that first group as high school students. But I know you do feel very confident about what we could offer in similar activities or through partnerships or even in-house offerings from our own staff. So talk to me a little bit about what that could look like.
Yeah, so a couple other staff members and I have been able to go tour some districts that are very much our size and see what they are able to offer their students. This can look like Votec pairings with neighboring districts.
Okay.
We won't be able to get the wide range of in-house learning opportunities. However, there are a lot of other virtual opportunities that we can bring to our students. There's a lot of new platforms that have come out.
Okay.
I'm also really excited to see where we can take our district and our kids because of our size. It's hard to steer a big ship.
Yeah.
Whenever you're a little bit smaller like we are, a lot of times you can bring in some really neat, special, student-centered opportunities for our kids.
Okay, I think you've seen some of those in some of those
Yes.
visits that you guys have been on too recently. So, okay, awesome, love that. So let's talk a little bit more about some of those in-house offerings, because we currently have electives. You've done a great job.
We do, we have a lot.
As the building principal, redoing electives about every single year and teachers offering new things for our kids. So, we've got band and we've two different levels of band, right? Beginning band and advanced band. We have offered foreign languages to our junior high kids. We haven't offered home ec. That's something we haven't done, but talk to us a little bit about what the elective offerings might look like.
So if we were to get to the point where we were to add a high school, you're going to have 10 to 15 teachers that are going to be dedicated just to high school.
Okay.
There will also be a handful of teachers that split between your middle school, junior high, and the high school. So you're going to see some overlap in personnel.
Okay.
That's exciting because it brings a whole new wide range of opportunities for our kids. For example, Mr. Sproat might be able to do a drama class with some of the older kids.
Yeah.
One of our new high school teachers might be able to bring some stuff down for our junior high kids. So that's going to diversify things a little bit. Like we talked about earlier with some of the online platforms, whenever you get to high school, you might have kids that want to take a whole bunch of different foreign languages.
True.
We're not going to be able to hire 5 different foreign language teachers.
No.
That's not going to happen. However, there are opportunities out there that really mirror a lot of what the college experience looks like now, where they can get some of those online courses. And what I've seen in other districts is they'll have a designated space. The kids will come in for an hour, take that class, and then they can move on with the rest of their day in seated classes.
Wow. Okay. All right. That sounds fantastic. Okay, so you mentioned ag earlier, and we know we have a lot of students who want that FFA experience. They want agriculture. We see that whenever they head off to our neighboring high schools right now. But we also have kids who are interested in the medical field, because we've had, Mercy bring a great big simulation here, early childhood, auto body, all those kinds of things that, require kind of a tech center or some other kind of partnership. So what does that look like if we had a Buckskin High School here?
I think we're set up for a lot of it already. We've got everything from 4-year-olds to 14-year-olds in our building right now. So obviously there's some great opportunities there for our high school kids to get some real world learning in the field of education. We also have a fantastic facility just right across the parking lot in our bus barn that we could easily convert into a facility that has welding, auto body, all sorts of different stuff. I'm also excited to see what kind of partnerships we could come up with. You talked about the medical field. That is an area that I feel like we could partner up with maybe one of our local universities, local colleges, and bring our kids some pretty exciting stuff.
So thinking about Votec options that we could do here, but then also thinking about Votec offerings that we could partner with neighboring districts for, and then OTC, because a lot of our students, like you mentioned, they could get some of that advanced coursework. Our kids are doing it now in our neighboring high schools. They would just do it here on site with us, but still go through OTC. They could get dual credits. They could do all of those things, possibly through MSU or some of those other colleges, right?
Yeah. I think that because of our size, it will make it easier for us to work some of those pairings in for these students in times of their day and in points in their high school career where it really fits and it's applicable to them.
So really, when you talk about personalized learning, us knowing our kids preschool through 8th grade really kind of sets our high school teachers and that component up for a lot of success, because we're going to have known our kids a really long time, having everybody housed in one building.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about extracurriculars then. So, some of the things that our kids participate in that they don't necessarily earn a high school credit for, but still, is a big component of high school life, and things that really we know enrich and teach kids, some of those life skills, job skills that they're going to need whenever they leave high school. So after school clubs, we've already got tutoring after school. We've already got a couple of clubs after school. Those are kind of elementary. It's going to look different at the high school level. So, and then I know if parents have talked a little bit about, will kids still get like prom or homecoming or some of those fun extra things and activities and events that families look forward to at the high school? How do you see that in our district?
I see us still providing a lot of those same opportunities. The prom, of course, graduation, homecoming, all that stuff. We will still have those. It's just going to look a little bit different. It's going to look like the Buckskin Way, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
As far as the after school clubs and offerings and stuff, we do such a fantastic job right now of giving our kids multiple different opportunities. I don't foresee how that would change any whenever we got the high school kids. We're going to keep doing the best that we can for our students and for our community, really.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think you mentioned graduation. If we had a high school, our 8th grade students wouldn't graduate because they just continue on to be freshmen, right? So the last question is kind of about graduation honors, accelerated learning, honors classes, kind of some of the things we've kind of touched on, but this is a big pull for, kids who want to pursue colleges and universities. Will we still be able to have those accelerated honors classes? Will they get honors when they graduate with us from high school? And what would that look like, or how would that change for a student? I know there's choices of a magna summa cum laude system. There's choices for a valedictorian salutatory system, which is kind of what we're used to, the latter, right, with our 8th grade graduating class. And then what about sports letters and academics letters? Because those are things that our neighboring high schools offer to our kids too.
I don't see why we wouldn't do, the athletic letters. We're going to keep right on with that. We're going to give that to our high school students. The summa cum laude versus the valedictorian salutatory, and those are conversations that we can have. With what I have seen in our middle school and junior high over the past 2 years with the awards and the honors that we're giving those students for their academic achievements, I don't know why we wouldn't try to recognize more students rather than just your top two. Okay. I like the idea of recognizing more of our students for those athletic achievements because they've worked hard for them. They deserve it. The number 3, number 4 kid in the class deserves something just like 1, 2. They might only be a point off. But those are a lot of conversations that we're going to have along the way, and it will be all about recognizing our students for their hard work and yes, setting them up for their college experience also.
Okay. I think that wraps up all of our topics about classes and coursework, the things that we've been hearing from some parents so far. I know you've been really heavily invested in figuring out some of those things logistically and what does that look like. So I appreciate your time today, Mr. Starnes. I think the last announcement I would have is don't forget that we have our special board meeting coming up on April the 28th at 6 p.m. That is the listening session. So patrons need to come out and be ready to sign up to go ahead and speak at that meeting, because all the topics that we're sharing right now, a lot have come from people who stop you at the supermarket, or stop you down here at the little Dollar General, or stop me somewhere in town, or a lot of our conversations, a lot of our questions that are coming from community members right now, even most recently at the Jolly Barber Carnival that PTO put on, have really helped guide our video making process. They've really helped guide our decision making process and trying to figure out like what would be the best case scenario in all of these different areas. So continue to please reach out to us, continue to have those conversations with us. And again, please show up on April the 28th at 6 p.m. for that special board meeting. The community patrons will be heard that evening. So thank you so much. Go Buckskins.